Hi, and welcome to Tuesday's Tips and Tools. I'm Britt Bugbee, an instructional designer with the Center for E-Learning, and in this video, we are exploring the BlazeVIEW Groups feature and how to best use this feature and related tools to help students succeed. So, why use groups? So, group activities have pedagogical benefits. It leads to active engagement with course material rather than passive. It allows active academic engagement with other students. It's considered a high-impact educational practice, and it helps students develop certain skills as they're working together, including critical thinking, problem solving, different tools with negotiation, and how to communicate with each other using collaboration and teamwork skills, and how to present this information as a group. It also will add to a sense of belonging. It can reduce that isolation that students often feel in an online environment by helping them work together in these structured situations. It also adds to diversity and inclusion by allowing students to not only listen to, but acknowledge and synthesize different viewpoints from their own. And a bonus, it also saves time and workload for busy instructors and students. So what are some best practices when you are working with groups? You need to make sure and include clear instructions for exactly what tasks, what purposes the activity is for with each activity where you're using a group. Whether it's a large group, small group, a pair, and it's good to add some variety when you're doing different types of group work in a classroom, but make sure that you include very clear instructions so there's not a question that leads to conflict with the members of the group. It's also very important to include not just group guidelines, but individual guidelines so that each member of the group knows what the grade will be for their portion, and they know what's expected of not just the group as a whole, but each member of the group. Make sure with the group work that you give sufficient time for them to not only create the product, but work together to hash out those differences. Because this isn't just one person working on one thing individually, you have to take that into account and allow time for that process. So when you're designing the activities, you want to design the activity for involvement. You want to give each member something to do and something that they're going to be able to give to this project or to this discussion. You want to also design this interdependence. You don't want it to be where they're each doing their own thing totally. Otherwise, that could be separate. When you're doing the group, you want to have it where they would depend on each other. And in asynchronous, you may have this opinion or this idea that it would be more difficult due to time constraints, but there's ways to facilitate that within BlazeVIEW and in online situations altogether. And the big thing is you want to have a fair division of labor. You want to set up structure in advance of the project or discussion. You want to set it up so that everyone has their role, they have their tasks, and it's equal with each person. Um, and everyone kind of has their job to play. It also helps when you're grading it to do that so that you can tell when someone falls down or does exceptionally well using tools that aren't just this person did all the work and this one didn't. You can tell by how the group worked and it doesn't fall on someone else. One issue where you see that an interdependence that's been designed not well is when it's possible to complete it with one person doing all the work. It should still be possible for the group to do something. Even if one person falls down, you'll just see weakness in that area. So a lot of that comes with that design. So how do groups work in BlazeVIEW? Well, let's see. So from your class, and I'm in my sandbox, you want to go to your communication tabs and then groups, And this is where you will start and be able to manage your groups. So let's start a new category. And our category, we're going to have, I was an English teacher, so let's have a group for Macbeth. Okay. And there are different types of enrollment. You can have groups of number. So you want groups of 2. You want a certain number of groups. Groups of 3 people, and the students can choose. You want a certain number of groups, so you want 5 groups, and again, the students can enroll themselves. This is a combination of both, where you have the number of groups with a capacity of whatever number, and then single user member specific. So the one we see the most is a certain number of groups. So you want 5 groups in your class. And the other one we see a lot is a group of 3. You want there to be that, however many groups it works out to be. You have a large class, but this is going to be all groups of 3 or 4. So you would put number of users in each group and put in 3 or 4, or a number of groups, and then it tells you how many groups. Okay, so I'm going to do a group of 3 groups. Prefix is the Macbeth group. One error that does come up with this is if your prefix is too long. So when you have the automatic org ID number that's up, that may have, whatever the name of your class is. If that gets too long, you may have an error. So make sure your group prefix is not super long. Here you can auto enroll, and again, as everything else in BlazeVIEW, click the little question mark dot, and it will tell you what this means. So I want to randomize the users. I don't want to have to pick. I just want it to do it for me. And I want the category and descriptions visible to the students. Okay, so in this case, we would set up a discussion area. Our forum is going to be Macbeth. And you want to, if there's an existing topic, you can create a group restricted thread in an existing topic. It only works, and it tells you everything on here. It's only available for empty topics without group restrictions or posts. So if somebody's already started one on a whole class one, you won't be able to then go back and do group restricted. So you want to start this from before you do your discussions. That's one thing I've seen issues with. Do your groups first, then your discussions. Then you're able to set that up a little more cleanly. So we'll save that. So in your discussions, and I've seen this kind of go a little haywire, so I want to help you guys out with this. For the discussions, you can create one topic. Everyone has the same questions, but their threads will be separated by the groups. So even though everyone has the same question, I'm going to go with a nice simple one. Discuss symbolism in Macbeth. I can't type today. There we go. And then this is the one topic. Maybe you would say group 1 and say the trees in the forest. My English people and theater people know this one. Group 2, blood. Group 3, magic. Randomly off the top of my head. So you can have one topic, and then you can identify subtopics that each group would be able to do and assign that way. You can just leave it as just one major topic and have them choose on their own. Leave the clear instructions. Again, clear instructions, very important. So you can also change it to have one topic per group. So each group will have a separate topic. And for that, you would go in and create each one. And when we go into Manage Groups, right here is the panel where you can check for who the members are in each group. And you see here I only have 8 students, so group 3 only has 2. So if you want to see who the members are, you click on the members of the group. If you want to edit the group, you can enroll new users or view the enrollment. Okay. That would be under here. Members here. The assignment, you can get information on that assignment. No one's turned anything in. You can go to this specific discussion and check how their discussion's going. And then you can go in and see what files they've added to their locker. Or if you would like to upload a file for that group, so if you have specific instructions for each group that would be shared, you can go there to do that. You can also email group members. So for this student, we go into groups. And this student is in group 3. There's 2 members of the group. He can go straight to their group discussions, straight to the group files. And if he wants to email the other members of the group, he can click this little icon here and see this email to the other members of the group. Another tip that I'm going to give you is that you can also use Collaborate Ultra for group work. One way to do this is by setting up sessions for students. So you could create certain sessions for them to meet. And also students can be shown how to use breakout rooms if you are comfortable with making them all moderator. And to me, I don't mind doing this if I'm not actively presenting, where they could then go into the course room. And when all of your students are here, they can break out into their breakout rooms. And you could set up just like they would already have it, group 1, group 2, and group 3, and then assign them as they go, or let them assign themselves. They can switch groups. So different tools you can use with your groups, different suggestions for ways to do it. You can have them present, things like that. So if you're interested in any more information about how to create groups, how to involve groups, how to design activities for groups, just let me know. I'm here in the Center for eLearning. You can email us at blazeVIEW@valdosta.edu, and we're always here to help you out. So have a great Tuesday.